Well, a couple of things come to mind for me. One of them is an incident that happened a number of years ago when I graduated from Union Theological Seminary in Richmond, Virginia. And Dr. Patrick Miller was the speaker at the commencement service. And he had a very unusual commencement address in that he chose the story about Jesus and the Sadducees. The Sadducees came to Jesus and they made up this amazing story about a woman whose husbands died in succession, one after the other, and they said, then in the resurrection, who will be her husband? And Jesus responded to them and said, you are wrong, because you know neither the scriptures nor the power of God. And Patrick Miller went on to talk to the graduating students about the way in which their pastorate needed to be characterized by one, knowing the scriptures, and two, knowing the power of God. And one of those is a valuable thing in and of itself, but both of them need to come together. And as I was reflecting on that, I think that is about as basic as I can get it in terms of what characteristics does a pastor need to have, understanding both the scriptures and the power of God. And that reminded me of an incident that I experienced when I was working at the American Bible Society just after I graduated from college. And every once in a while we would have meetings together, sort of like chapel services. And in these gatherings, often there would be speakers, Bible Society speakers, who would come from points all around the world, from working with Bible distribution. And the thing that I remember most profoundly about those sessions, I don't remember any one story, single story that they told, but I remember that these stories were about people who encountered the scriptures for the very first time in their lives, had no background to the scriptures but encountered them, and whose lives were profoundly changed and transformed by the power of God at work in those scriptures. And so I think needing to offer a short reflection on what does a pastor need to have in order to be an effective pastor, I would say an understanding both of the scriptures and of the power of God at work in those scriptures.